What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? This your boy Tay Biz. Welcome to Tay Biz TV, man. I hope you all are having a great day. Hope you all are having a good time on this Friday. You just got paid. It's Friday night. Body jumping. Getting right. On, on the floor. Y'all don't know about that, man. Shout out to LB Shore real quick, man. Shout out to LB Shore, man. Let's get it, man. Yo, this your boy Tay Biz, man. We are here, man. It's been so much good going on. So much good going on, man. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. It's been a wonderful week. It's been a very busy week. It's been the last 2 weeks been kind of busy, I ain't gonna lie. But this has been a wonderful week. Shout out to Chill, the mod of all mods, saying, "What up, Dope Biz Nation? Happy Friday." We got Katie's Way of Living saying, "Hey, I'm from Letcher County. Know them both well." All right. We got another person from Letcher County. I'm so glad that you are in the building. Let's shout out Katie in the building. Shout her out. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tay Biz TV. Yes, we have been on the Letcher County Hill, right? We have been on their hills, man. We have definitely been covering this case, one of the most interesting cases I've came across in a very long time, where a sheriff goes into the chambers of the judge, a district judge in that county, and guns him down 8 times, shoots him 8 times. This is absolutely something that I've never heard of before. And so when this first happened, I immediately had to investigate this to see what's going on. And come to find out, it's deeper than what it looks like on the surface. So Katie, once again, thank you so much for joining Tay Biz TV. Everybody put Katie in the chat real quick. Go ahead and put Katie in the chat real quick. We got Factual Line of building saying, "What up, dope? Just popping in to like and share. I'm a few hours behind in the Adelson trial. I might have to be replay crew. It's all love. Normally you in the building, so it's all love." Shout out to Factual Line in the building, man. Factual Line, appreciate you so much. Trakisha in the building saying, "Happy Friday" in the building. And of course, we got Taya Adams, one of the strongest women that we know right now that's coming out. We have had Taya on the show. She is a friend of the show. We have some great things coming up. We're not saying nothing yet. We're cooking. Okay. We are cooking right now. We got some stuff brewing right now. I'm telling you, we got an opportunity to do something that is, man, that is so good. It's so great. And it's related to this case, and it's related to what we've been covering. And I just want everybody to know, if you just be a little bit patient with me, we'll be able to announce the finalizations of things, if it be God's will. So shout out to Ty once again. We got Terry Winnegar in the building saying, "Hello, Tay Biz. Happy weekend from Augusta, Kentucky." Shout out to Augusta, Kentucky in the building. Everybody put Terry in the chat. We're gonna put Terry in the chat. Okay. We're gonna put Katie in the chat. All right, hold on. I got my stuff mixed up. Give me one moment. Okay, let me delete that. Okay, let me put Katie in the chat from Letcher County. All right, who has joined us and said that she knows Bartley and Stines very well. All right, hey y'all from Finland. You in Finland? Hold on, Tracy Talks is in Finland. What time is it over there? Hey, y'all. Hey, from Finland, though. Out here vacationing. That is what's up. That is what's up. Yo, we are here, man. We are here tonight. We are going to unpack the insanity defense, because it's a very, very interesting defense for this type of situation. And so I had to do a little bit of digging today, because I'm like, all right, on my spare time, when I had some spare time, I did some digging a little bit, because I'm like, well, how many insanity defense cases have been won in this country for, like throughout the years. And so I pulled up one icon. I couldn't believe I forgot this, but one iconic case I pulled up where a person who pled insanity, that's their defense, they were actually able to win the case. They was found not guilty. Okay, and we're gonna go over it a little bit. It's gonna be towards the tail end of the show, but we're gonna go over it just a little bit, and we're gonna see. We're about to see some things, man. We're about to see some things. Okay. Um, yeah. Terry says Taya took a trip to visit a church meeting in Mount Sterling. I'm going to watch the church meeting with famous preacher Clark. Oh, it was something. It was something. It was something. What Taya sent me was something. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And for some reason, every time I hear Michael Clark speak or talk or whatever, I just get instantly irritated with this guy, man. Something just not right about this dude, man. And I just can't with him. You know what I'm saying? Janet Pruitt saying, "What up, though?" In the building. Trakisha said, "I'm driving, but I'm still her." All right, be safe on that road now. All right, be safe on that road. Keep your eyes on the prize. All right. Definitely look. This week has been, and let me know how y'all week has been. You know, if you had a really good week, you know what I'm saying, if you had some a good something that meaningful happened this week, go ahead and put it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Show some positive vibes into the chat tonight, because we are going in to figure out if this insanity defense is going to be enough to beat first degree murder. Now, trying to figure out, we understand that in Kentucky the death penalty is a thing there. It is a thing, and so you can be penalized to death in Kentucky for first degree murder. All right, and so it's interesting that they utilize that specific charge against Sean Mickey Stines. All right, and so I definitely want to look at some interviews, because we have spent a lot of time talking about the corruption side of things. I want to talk about the defense. I want to talk about Jeremy Bartley's game plan, what he plans on, how he's going to angle this thing out. We saw a portion of it when we saw him in the hearing recently asking for bond. We already know that's not going we know that's not going to happen. But he's putting something, he cooking, he cooking something. He wants to get the psych evaluation unsealed. He was able to get the motion approved and granted to have Mickey Stines take a psych evaluation. And so we are going in the insanity defense route here. We are in that vein. And so we want to see if it's going to be enough. And I want to highlight Jeremy Bartley tonight, interviews that he has had from the beginning, small portions of them that he's had in the middle, and also towards the end. And recently on Brian Enton's show, he did a phone interview with Brian Enton. And we're going to get into that as well tonight and see what we can get and grab. All right. And also, I pulled a case from years ago, back in the 80s, where a gentleman was able to be found not guilty based upon insanity. The defense was insanity, and he won the case. And wait till you see what case it is that I pulled from. One of the most iconic cases in American history. All right. In American history. So we are going to go ahead and look at that tonight. Starfish and Coffee is in the building. Always showing love. Always showing love. Always showing love. Shout out to Starfish and Coffee. All right. Janet is in the building again. What's okay? We got okay. I missed the Florida cake. All right. Is that Tasia? Atasia? MC? I'm sorry. Can I call you T-Mac? I don't want to butcher your name. If it's Tasia, put a 1 in the chat. If it's Tasia, if it's not Tasia, put a 2 in the chat. It looks like Tasia to me. But anyway, I'm so happy that you are here and tuning in. Shout out to you right now. I want to give you some claps, give you some love. We should be in the building saying what up, Doe. What up, though? Felicia Fee is in the building, still rocking out with your boy. I appreciate you all, man. I really do. I really do. Despite, look, again, I was determined, man. Despite the fact that I got demonetized, uh, I am going to reapply. Next month is around the corner, so I have plenty of time. But they had to get your boy on one of them videos. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But we learn and we live again. To see another day. All right. And despite that, the channel is still growing without monetization. So I want to shout out you all because it's because of you that this channel is growing. All right. Real talk. Tasia, and yep, you can call me T-Mac. All right, I'm gonna call you T-Mac. All right. We got T-Mac in the building. Everybody put T-Mac in the building. Go ahead and put T-Mac in the chat. We're gonna put T-Mac in the chat right now. All right. Go ahead and Florida with love. And thank you so much for tuning in to Tay-Biz TV. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, man. Let's go ahead and get started with the show here. Let's go. All right. So we have Jeremy Bartley here, and we are going to look at, this is one of the first, real quick interviews that he did. This is shortly after this whole situation started, okay? Again, Mickey Stines shot Judge Kevin Mullins 8 times in his chambers on September the 19th, which was a Thursday. Monday, September the 16th, Mickey Stines was deposed. He was in a deposition related to a civil lawsuit that was filed by Sabrina Atkins. All right. There was another woman attached to this particular lawsuit later on after it was filed. Her name was Jennifer Hill. Now, Jennifer Hill has now passed away. I believe it was 2023, I believe. But it was in the midst of the time where Ben Fields was about to be sentenced and convicted and all this kind of stuff. And now, all of a sudden, for some strange reason, she happened to be found dead because of an overdose or OD. But it was around the time where Ben Fields was going to get not only convicted for Sabrina Atkins' situation, but also Jennifer Hill. Okay. And it was going through that process. All right. And let me tell you something. I truly do not believe that to be true. Now, that's what was reported, but I do not believe that to be true because we do know that Jennifer Hill's fiance at the time, I believe his name was Chris Triplet. He went to the courthouse to complain about Ben Fields coming to their homes, trying to solicit Jennifer Hill, allegedly, for sexual favors. Jennifer Hill defended herself and said, no, because I can afford my ankle monitor fees. I can afford this. She refused Ben Fields' passes. Chris went to Letcher County office to complain about Ben Fields, and they kicked him out. Now, that is what we saw in an article, detailed article that we reviewed here on this channel. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, I believe that Ben Fields was a rabid pit bull when it came to soliciting certain things like sexual favors. Ben Fields, we also have the Ben Fields interview that on this channel. If you want to look at that Ben Fields interview video that we dropped, okay, some time ago, where Matt Easter is interviewing Mr. Ben Fields concerning the Sabrina Atkins situation. And then Jennifer Hill was also being harassed by him. Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for this. After they kicked him out, he was allegedly harassed by fellow officers. He was also threatened by fellow officers to say, if you ever show up here again, we will do this, that, and the third. And you can imagine what this, that, and the third is. Okay. So we clearly know that something has happened where Jennifer Hill was in a position where something could have taken place. I believe also in this particular situation between Ben Fields and Jennifer Hill, I believe that we read also in an article, in a report, that he allegedly, he threatened Jennifer Hill. He threatened Jennifer Hill and told her that if you don't give me what I want, they will believe that you died of an overdose. That's exactly what he said to her. That's what she reported. And then not too long after that, she's no longer with us. I find this very, very interesting of the timing of how things happen. We're piecing it together here. Okay. And we're not lawyers, we're not professionals when it comes to the law, but we do research. We got good common sense. I do have Black's Law Dictionary. I study it often. I look at things often. We do my background is IT, so information is one of the things that I learned first on how to gather. They teach you that first in school. And I'm telling you right now, something is not adding up. Something is not making sense. It's just not making sense. You have a gentleman here who said, and not too long, I believe not too long after that occurred, where Jennifer Hill was found with an OD, was she was diagnosed, or not diagnosed, but they said it was an OD and she overdosed on drugs. I forget what it was. I believe it was an opioid or something of that nature. Then he pleads guilty of third-degree R, which is baffling to me. And not only that, he also plead guilty of tampering with monitoring devices. And then he goes to the jail. In the jail, they have a bed for him and a TV and all kind of things. And then from there, he goes on house arrest for a period of time, and then he's good. Slap on the hand. That's basically what occurred, a slap on the hand. All right. So all of this is occurring. All this corruption is happening. All the timing of everything is just so close together. And so we understand the corruption part. We want to see how strong the defense of insanity is going to be in this case. Now, if I'm a thinking man here, I'm trying to think. Going to trial is smart because you do not want to plead guilty of first-degree murder, because you do not want the death penalty. Also, being able to plead, to have an insanity plea, could also lessen some time or find you not guilty and things of that nature as well. It could be another misstep by Commonwealth to charge this specific charge and not the charge of voluntary manslaughter and the like. So the whole point of being able to talk about this insanity is to ensure the fact that either he is A, not guilty of it, or B, there will be the penalty of the death penalty will not be a thing that they would try to sentence him with. Because by law, by the Commonwealth, by the law of Kentucky, the death penalty is allowed. You can be, for first-degree murder, you can be sentenced the death penalty. And that would be a shame, and that would be another corrupt thing to do to a fellow sheriff, even though what he did is wrong. Let's be clear. We know what Mickey Stines did was wrong. But the reasons behind some things sometimes will give you a clear picture of why a person did something. And if you're talking about protection of your family, when you're talking about seeing corruption all around you all the time, you have legitimate reasons to do some bad things. Doesn't mean that the bad thing that you did is cool, but there's some warrant. There is some warrant to that. There's a lot of times where a person will lie to protect somebody. Oh, you should never lie. But what if I'm doing it to protect someone? See how the game can change after that. And it depends on what it is. And if someone is threatening your life or the life of your loved one, what would you do? You don't know until you in that situation. So we cannot judge the person right off rip. I can't just judge Mickey Stines. I can't just judge and say, oh yeah, he meant to do it. He no, I don't know what state of mind that man was in. And based on what we saw on this channel, based on what we covered on this channel, and how we saw things build up to that point, I can't just say that man woke up wanting to do that, because first of all, he did it in broad daylight. He did it in broad daylight inside of the most lawful place in the whole county. If he was a premeditated murdering type of person, he is the craziest and dumbest one ever. So I don't think that's the case. That's my opinion. That's my observation based on everything and all the evidence that I've seen, based on all the information that I have, all the documents I've seen. I can't just say, oh yeah, he meant to do that on purpose. He premeditated. It was premeditated. He had it on his mind all day. I know one person that can attest to something about being on his mind all day, Michael Clark, because he was with him all day. But guess what? Nobody knows his thoughts because he hasn't been interviewed by anybody, including the Kentucky State Police. Not one interview. So we're going off of our speculation. We're going off of our observation. We're putting on our thinking caps, and we're trying to figure out if this is what it is. Is this murder of the first degree, or is this voluntary manslaughter? And the motivation and the reasonings and the mental state that you're in can all be factors between the differences. All right. Here it is. We have Jeremy Bartley. And he is going to, this is the first time we actually kind of like heard him speak. It's not that long of a video. We're going to get into more interviews of his, but we want to hear him speak a little bit, like shortly after the Mickey Stines event occurred. Now, again, this is fresh out the frying pan for Jeremy Bartley. You know, so this was one of the first times we saw him before he started actually taking on some interviews here and there with like Court TV and Law and Crime and things of that nature. All right. So everybody put a 1 in the chat if you are ready to rock and roll. Terry Winiger asks me, Tay Biz, since news outlets are strong on this case, do you think the attorney general / governor would feel the squeeze to actually open up a criminal investigation on Letcher County court? You know what? That is a very good question. Do I think the attorney general or the governor would feel the squeeze to do that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I believe that they would do it. And the reason why is because from what I have been known to about Letcher County is that I don't think the governor is the type to get involved into some questionable things from what I've gathered. Now, attorney general, I don't know. I don't think they would do a thorough job. And the reason why is because when I listened to that Ben Fields interview, I was like, man, this is the weakest interview ever. Weak. I'm not sure if the investigation should be in-house. I believe that, and I'm answering this question here, I believe that there should be more, like the FBI should get involved. It should be more of a federal thing to get involved. I don't think they need to do it in-house. Like internal affairs or governor or attorney general, I don't think it should be like that. I think it should go to a federal level. I believe that you need to get FBI in here. You need to get some intelligence in here, non-biased intelligence, no connections to anything. Like everything is so close. Everything is too close. I think it needs to be a legit, thorough sweep from outside sources like the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think something like that should happen. But great question, though. Great question. Wow, great question. Yeah, FBI need to get involved out there. I think it need to be a federal investigation on Letcher County. That's my opinion. All right. Exactly, Taya. I said if he really wants to help, he can work with the FBI and not more corrupt perpetrators. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Look at that. 50 years of corruption at minimum. This is Backwoods, Georgia girl. Shout out to Backwoods in the building. Shout out to Backwoods. Let me give you a hand clap, Backwoods. Appreciate you. All right, let's get it going.
This prior, and I'd say it again, we ask that everyone withhold judgment. Let the story be told in the courtroom. All right, what's online, all these social media posts, everybody's opinion about this case, it's a grain of salt. This is a complex case, but we believe that there will be a very complete defense for Mr. Stines, and we look forward to putting that on for him.
Yeah, having been on the case for a couple of months now, do you know whether this is connected to the federal lawsuit he was a part of? Is there any connection between?
I think that the timing of what occurred is certainly something that is going to be a crucial point in this case.
Okay, now he's talking about the reporter. Shout out to the reporter, asking the question of, okay, do you think that the Sabrina Atkins case, basically, because that lawsuit really sparked a lot of stuff, and Ned Pillersdorf, her attorney, really dug deep into a lot of the stuff that's going on in Ledger. So, very, very thorough depositions and everything. However, as you hear there, he's talking about that particular case, that particular deposition that occurred, is going to be a factor in this entire defense. So now, again, the game plan. We talk about the game plan. What's the game plan? They're going to use the lawsuit. Okay, they're going to use the lawsuit. See, it's good to hear these things again. It's always good to go back a little bit. He didn't give it away, but he mentioned it. He mentioned it in his answer. That's going to be a big part of this case, right? So we do know that one of the things they're going to utilize is this connection, this deposition, and this lawsuit being a factor in the mental state that Mickey Stines was in, right?
The timing of the deposition, amongst other things and other background information that will complete that story. But I do, yes, to answer your question, I do believe that is a piece. This is a large story. That's a story that in some ways is difficult to tell. We look forward to sharing a more complete version of that as we go through this judicial process.
You are seeking the death penalty, is
that has not been determined at this point in time. It was too early at this point in time to make sense.
Okay, they mentioned the death penalty. Again, I've been saying this. I've been saying it. I know. I look. That was the first thing that came to my mind. The first thing I wanted to know is that a death penalty state? Yes. So this was a good question again by another reporter who is like, hey, is this going to be one of those type of things? All right. So according to Jackie Steele, nothing's been mentioned about that. But this is before the preliminary hearing had occurred. The preliminary hearing did not occur just yet, I don't believe, in this particular interview here. I believe it happened afterwards, right? Because the preliminary hearing was in November. Okay.
Determination.
When do you think you'll make that determination?
After all the evidence has been collected, thoroughly gone through, and a conversation with the family's been had, and then get their thoughts on that process.
So you're disappointed your client didn't get a bond?
So I think, if I understand the judge's stance today, is that she's here for limited purposes of arraignment. So we entered the plea of not guilty, and we expect we'll file a motion for adversarial bond. And in a case like this, that's unlikely. Practically speaking, it's unlikely, but we'll certainly we believe
you're going
that
to throw everything at it.
Someone who, given his past history, that he's someone that presents a very compelling case for bond released while we still have this little thing called presumption of innocence. And it doesn't matter what the evidence that you've already seen is out there, he still carries that presumption. Well, I mean, I think some of the early conversations, first is going to be the adversarial bond hearing. But at some point, we'll have to address the elephant in the room concerning venue. And I believe we're standing right where this case should be heard. And that's
all right. Now, this is interesting. He believes that, now again, this is last year. He believes that this case should be tried in Letcher County. All right. He said, you just heard him say this. Okay. Now we doing this for a reason. We walking through this because the man obviously doesn't change his tune much. All right. You'll see why I say that a little bit later on this live, but he is saying that I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be tried right here. I would so love to know you all's thoughts on that in the chat, because to me, that's a very interesting outlook and perspective on this particular case, especially with so much corruption in this particular county. Very interested as to why he actually said that. Okay.
Case should be heard. And that's my stance on it. And if you want to look for support for that, look at the murder case that involved the Sheriff Sam Catchern in Pulaski County. And at the time, that was probably one of the most high-profile cases that area had seen. It was a nationally known case, and that thing was tried right in Pulaski County. Because at some point, you can't find a corner of the Commonwealth that hasn't received some media exposure to this. So we believe we're standing right where this case should be, a few feet from where this case should be tried, right here amongst Mickey Stines' peers. This prior.
Okay. So that's the first, remember that this is the first time we kind of heard Jeremy Bartley kind of speak on this particular type of thing. I think this is around the arraignment time. He became the lawyer for Mickey Stines and his representative. And so he believes that there's no reason why they shouldn't be tried in this case. Now, I'm thinking again, I was at first, I'm like, nah, man, it's way too much corruption. It's way too much corruption. You might get a corrupt jury. You might get a biased jury. You never know what can take place, man, because people could say anything during jury selection. They can say anything. I've had jury duty before. I had to go down to jury duty and see if I get picked for a case and stuff like that. And look, they ask you all kind of questions. Are you biased towards this? And it was a case where this gentleman did some harm to a child, in particularly a little girl here in Indiana. And I was in the last group. I was like almost like fourth to last person in this group to even be called. So I didn't even get a chance to go up there to be asked anything. So I was cool with that. And plus I was off work and I got me some pizza and I came and I got me some snacks and stuff. And I came to the crib. I was chilling. But they ask you questions about your biases. They ask you questions about what you do, your background. They ask you all these things. And so with Letcher County being so corrupt, because it is a corrupt county, man. Like, let's keep it a whole stack. I'm trying to figure out, is this the best place to try a case like this, right? Now, then I had to think, like, what better way to expose corruption inside of the corrupted place where all the corruption is taking place? Like, what better way to get a W, even if Mickey Stines still do jail time, okay? But the fact that everything is coming out the way it should, live in real time as the trial is going on, what better way to do it right smack dab in their faces? It's a very bold move, but one thing I like about Jeremy Bartley as a lawyer, I like the fact that he don't change his tune. He sticks to when he believes in something and when he knows something, he stick right to it. Okay, I gotta give him his props on that. Even if it don't even make sense, I still got to give him his props on that. All right. So this is very interesting that he said this even last year. All right. Now we're gonna take a look at another video of Jeremy Bartley having an interview with Crime Fix with Anjanette Levy. And we're going to look at this real quick and see what else we can find in his answers. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with that.
And there were a variety of things that were happening there in the area of the courthouse that I think a lot of people wanted to keep secret. The days leading up to that deposition and the days following that deposition, he was looking around every corner. He had every reason to believe that there was a threat to his wife and daughter. You heard the testimony at the preliminary hearing that our client's statement was they were going to take or kidnap my wife and daughter. And that was a very real threat that the sheriff felt. And,
all right. Okay. So we know one of the reasons why he's going to utilize the timing of the deposition is because there were some threats being done around that time. So he's alleging and he's saying that our defense is, due to these threats that will come out in trial, due to these threats, this is the reason why Mickey Stines responded the way he did. All right. I don't know about y'all, but put a 1 in the chat if you cannot wait for the opening statement for this case. Let me tell you something. I cannot wait for a trial date for this case, man. The opening statement for this case is going to be, oh man, I'm anticipating this so much. Okay. All right, let's continue.
there's a real husband, a real father, and a real human who was placed in a absolutely very delicate situation.
Guys, this is the bombshell interview just released by Anjanette Levy with Crime Fix. If you're not already a fan of hers, go over and check out her YouTube channel, and I'm certain you will be. She did a fabulous job tying this whole story together, in my opinion. And the attorney, Mr. Jeremy Bartley, he is brilliant. He dropped breadcrumbs to lead the community to exactly where he wants them to be, because he's aware that most of the community is already suspecting these things. Like I said, it was a fabulous interview. So let's get into it. And I want to know your thoughts. Absolutely. Let's go.
Body camera footage shows Stines being taken into custody.
Hold on. Interesting. Starfish and Coffee said this won't come to court. Very, very interesting. I wonder why you think so. I'm very curious about your thoughts on that. That's dope. I like the fact that you said that, though. I kind of like the fact that you said that. So let's see why you say that. If you don't mind sharing your detailed thoughts with us, please.
There ain't no weapons or nothing now.
Ain't nothing in there, bro.
Yeah. Come on now. Right here, open up the back hatch. Come on.
You heard Stines tell the troopers to make sure there weren't any weapons in the back of the cruiser. He then talks a little bit more.
Y'all gonna leave me in here and let me die? No, I can't get up in there. Come on now. Come on. I can't. Yeah, man, I can't get in. These cuffs are way too tight. Come on now, guys. Come on now.
On the hour-long ride to the jail that's in another county, Stines practically sounds paranoid.
Come on now, guys. Make sure I get to the jail.
If you're not from Kentucky, you may not.
All right. So again, the paranoia, all of that stuff was, even on this channel, we definitely witnessed it and saw the videos on this. I want to get deeper into the interview here. Okay. So let me skip up just a little bit. All right. And let's play from
Civil
here.
lawsuit filed by a woman named Sabrina Atkins. Atkins sued Letcher County after a former deputy named Ben Fields admitted to having sex with her when she was an inmate and he was supervising her on home incarceration. Atkins said she couldn't afford a GPS bracelet, so Fields offered to help her out in exchange for her having sex with him in Judge Mullins's chambers. Fields was charged criminally and served 6 months in jail, and he's supposed to be on probation for more than 6 years. Atkins told investigators with the Kentucky Attorney General's office that she saw videotapes of Judge Mullins having sex with women.
But you just saw the judge.
Right.
Do you know for sure that was the judge?
Yes.
I mean, how do you know that's the judge?
I'll be in front of him. His face is pretty clear on there.
So did this lawsuit and what was happening in the courthouse play a role in Stines shooting Judge Mullins? His attorneys most certainly believe so. And is the sheriff involved with the sex for favors in the courthouse?
The civil suit, the only reason that our client was named in the civil suit, and we're not representing him in that, but he was named solely as the sheriff. And the allegation in that case was solely that he failed to train this Ben Fields, who was convicted of having these sexual relations with people on pretrial release in the same chambers where these acts occurred. But I've not.
Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second, because this is a very interesting piece, because he was on there in his official capacity. He wasn't in there in his personal capacity. Ben Fields was in his personal capacity on that case. And Mickey Stines was on his official capacity where he didn't train him well or efficiently. And we also read part of the deposition on this channel of Mickey Stines. Okay. And so that could be a thing that the prosecution would try to use. Only on and I think only in a cross situation, like a cross-examination situation, because of the fact that the defense does plan on utilizing the deposition piece as the threat component to why Stines was in the mental state that he was in. These threats were happening allegedly prior to the deposition itself. It was leading up to the deposition. And so we uncovered on this case, on this channel, we uncovered the fact that there was a group text between Mickey Stines and Ben Fields and all these other people, all these other officials and officers, where they would say certain things that were a little bit edgy, and then Mickey Stines would try to redirect them back into being professional. So utilizing this piece would be interesting, especially for the prosecution, because when they examine someone about this, particular piece, when the defense gets to become case in chief, they're saying, hey, these threats occurred because of this particular case. Now, that particular case is pretty much closed because of the fact that Ben Fields pled guilty and he already served his time, which was not really time to me. 6 months is nothing for what you did, bro. But at the end of the day, this is something that would be very, very interesting during the trial period. Now, until we get further information, this is going to go to trial. However, it's possible if it changes, like Starfish and Coffee say, it won't come to court. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? But September the 2nd, which is Tuesday, I believe. Let me make sure I got this right. Yes, September the 2nd is Tuesday. There is another hearing, or that is the date where counsel have to give Judge Caron all the things that he needs to make his decisions on the motions. So there was some other information and some other evidence that had to come into play, and they have to email the judge or send them documents or whatever, so that way he can actually make a complete judgment on these motions. I will say the latest hearing that took place, I will say that was my first time hearing the judge in a capacity where he had to make decisions. The judge used to be a prosecutor, okay? So he really did sound like he sounded like his mind was already made up. It sounds like that, but I want to be fair towards the judge. I've never seen him. I've never seen the judge, this judge in action before. I don't know much about this judge, but one thing I do know is that he used to be a prosecutor, and it sounded like his mind was made up on a few things, especially the bond hearing. It didn't seem like the bond hearing was something that he really was particularly going to budge on. I mean, I'm on the bond piece. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to say no to that. If I was a betting man, I'm pretty sure he's going to deny that motion for bond for sure. 100% he's going to deny that for sure. The motion to unseal psych evaluation, I think I'm hoping that he would say yes. We can unseal it, and we can you can utilize it in your defense. So hopefully that could happen. And then there was an ex parte meeting that took place shortly after the hearing that we, of course, were not privy to because it's ex parte. So it's a lot going on. Okay, it's a lot going on. That's my little Trump impression. Anyway, yeah, this is very, very interesting. So I just want to let you know this is where we at with things. Okay. Terry says, Tay Biz, the courthouse isn't big enough for a trial. True, of this magnitude. Every motel within 100 miles will be filled with reporters. The same corrupt inside working in that jail would be witnesses. True. I did think about that. I'm glad you said that because I did think about that. Like, man, there's going to be a lot of coverage on this. Court TV and Law and Crime, they're going to slap all kind of people down there. So this is going to be interesting for him to want to do it in Letcher County. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. But thank you for that comment. I appreciate that.
Sexual relations with people on pretrial release in the same chambers where these acts occurred, but I've not seen anything that substantiates anything of that nature against our client.
We saw the body camera footage that was released that we obtained earlier this month. Your client seemed very paranoid in this footage. He's asking where they're taking him, all of this stuff. It almost sounded like he was afraid they were going to take him in the woods somewhere and do something to him, or that he was going to be taken somewhere. I mean, did he feel an imminent threat? And was it because of this lawsuit, about the sex in the courthouse and all of these allegations?
If you'd like a one-word answer, yes. Yes, he did feel threatened. In the
By
days
Judge
leading
Mullins?
up, he felt threatened by. I'm not going to say specifically who, but at this point, but he was concerned about.
Y'all see that? Wait, y'all see that? Look. Jeremy Bartley is a smart dude, man. This guy is smart. Okay. The answer was blatantly yes. We're connecting dots here. Who did Mickey Stines call and what phone did he use? Okay. What the phone that has been retrieved by Clayton Stamper, the detective of the year, and I say that with all sarcasm. That phone call to his daughter is the last thing that occurred from Judge Mullins' phone that would potentially set a man off. Now, I'm still perplexed at why the daughter's phone was not retrieved when that phone call went to her. Did she pick up the phone and then try to call back so that way she can explain to daddy or to Kevin or who knows? Because the phone did ring. You called and then something happened. He threw the phone to the table. He got up and uncovered his pistol. And then as he was pointing the gun to Judge Kevin Mullins and began to shoot, the phone did ring again. An incoming call came. Who did the call come from? All right. So these threats and all these things that's directly from Kevin Mullins has potential to come out in the trial. That's the reason why I asked the question in the last live. Do you think Kevin Mullins will be exposed? Because Kevin Mullins has alleged to not be such a great guy as people may think. You know, you can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time. And that's what we have in this case.
Judge Mullins?
He felt threatened by, if you'd like a one-word answer, yes. Yes, he did feel threatened. In the
By
days
Judge
leading
Mullins?
up, he felt threatened by, I'm not going to say specifically who, but at this point,
Ooh, you see her face? Her face was like, come on now, give it to me now. Give me the tea. She want tea, but you ain't going to get the tea out of Jeremy Bartley. You can't get tea out of Barkley, okay? You can't get tea out of Barkley. I ain't going to say who it is, but you know, if you look at the smile on my face, if you put two and two together, you might get the answer to your question. You feel me? All right, shout out to Wendy Taylor in the building. This is a new someone that we have not seen before in the chat. Everybody put Wendy in the chat. And thank you so much for your comment. She said, I hope Mickey gets to go free. Woo-wee. Let's go.
I'm not going to say specifically who, but at this point, but he was concerned about if he said the wrong thing or if he had already said something that could cause people to want to retaliate against him, to cause harm to him or his family. Yes, he did feel that there was an imminent threat. And, is it related to the deposition? Well, in large part, yes. And about some of the things that were behind the veil were not operated the way they should be. I think there were a lot of things that he certainly would have been privy to, had been made aware of. And I think that there was a concern that what he might say in that deposition could be harmful to others. I think that this caused him severe distress. And I think you see a person in the body cam footage that you see a person who is completely outside of themselves, outside of the normal way that people were used to seeing the sheriff. And, the days leading up to that deposition and the days following that deposition, he was looking around every corner. He had every reason to believe that there was a threat to his wife and daughter.
I want you to kind of break down, Jeremy, what exactly you're looking for here with the criminal responsibility evaluation. I do
believe that his defense will in part rely upon a mental health defense.
I think this was
so that responsibility piece had already been taken care of in the first hearing that occurred with Judge Christopher Caron. Okay. That was when the hearing took place where Mickey Stines was on Zoom. He wasn't present in the courtroom. The entire hearing was on Zoom, and they wanted to file a motion to have the psych evaluation and things of that nature, but they needed assistance with the finances to pay for it. Basically, there were some things that Mickey Stines had in his favor that allowed him the opportunity to be able to take advantage of having some type of military connection and things of that nature. And so he was able to get that psych evaluation done by the KCPC. And so the state of Kentucky was able to do that. And I believe that the defense was trying to utilize their own doctor as well to make sure that whatever the KCPC evaluation results were, to make sure that they were right. And the prosecution didn't like that. They didn't like that at first. Okay, but you can always call expert witnesses. All right, so that's the beautiful part. That's the beautiful part of it. That's the workaround, right? But that was something that was mentioned in that particular preliminary hearing. Again, I do have that in my that hearing that I'm referring to is in my. I think I did a video of that. So if you go to the videos, if you go to my videos, you'll see that there was a preliminary hearing where you see Bartley, his wife, and Mickey Stines sitting in a cell where there's a Zoom, and then you'll see that preliminary hearing. You'll be able to ingest the information of how we got to this point. Now we're going to go to another interview that Jeremy Bartley was on Court TV. All right, for your boy Vinny Politan. What are we doing? We are looking at Jeremy Bartley. We are trying to get the game plan. All right. We know that he's going to use the threat. We know that he's going to reference the lawsuit at some capacity. We know that he's going to reference the deposition, the transcript. I did share with everyone. I'm not sure if you all have my Sean Mickey Stines folder with all the information in it, but if someone does have it, please share the link, because anyone who has access to the link can be able to see this information. All right. We see that he's going to go insanity. So he's got the psych evaluation. He's piecing it all together. And so when it's his time to defend in case in chief, providing that this case actually goes to trial, then we'll get a chance to see all of the actual factuals, the factual findings that the defense was able to get as well. And this is something that we really want, that we're interested in, because right now, again, we're all speculating and we have our own experience and we have our own, we have our own perspective. Some of us actually have like a deep research background. Some of us actually have a lawyer background, a law background, or a community service background. And so it's cool to have a community of people to be able to evaluate things together and to see what's going on here, And so definitely we are looking at what it is, the game plan. What is the game plan for the defense? Yeah, insanity is one particular thing, but what are you going to use to support that insanity defense? You're going to use the threats. Okay, we're going to use these threats. All right, that's going to be one thing. We're going to use this deposition. Okay, the timing of things, we're going to use that. We're going to use the psych evaluation. We're going to use that. So we're trying to see what else is he going to use. Is he going to use the daughter? It's like we haven't gotten to that point yet. No one has talked to the daughter. No one has talked to the wife. No one has talked to Michael Clark. All right. There are some people that we haven't heard nothing from, and I want to hear from them. Okay. And it's bugging me that they won't say that. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at this particular interview with Vinny Politan that he had some months ago. And we want to see if we can find some more things inside of the game plan of Jeremy Bartley and his wife. Let's go.
Some sort of an answer to it tonight. Joining us for the entire hour, the defense attorney representing Sheriff Stines, Jeremy Bartley, is with us. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Vinny. It's nice to meet you.
Yep, I just want folks to know and everyone to know there's about a 2-second delay between the questions and answers, but that's okay. We'll work through it. So how complicated is the answer to that question? Why?
Well, I hate to disappoint you, and I certainly hate to disappoint the viewers, but I don't think that we're going to get that full answer tonight, Vinny. It's extremely complicated. Look, this is not a simple case. This is not a case that is only told by the, 7 to 10 seconds that was shown at the preliminary hearing. The story is one that's told over a several year period, and most especially and specifically, it is told over the weeks prior to that ultimate moment that you see there in the video.
Well, let me ask you this. Is part of the reason or one of the driving factors the mental health of Sheriff Stines?
Facts, Trakisha.
Well, we believe so. And one of the things that we've talked about from the beginning is the fact that the first thing he said to the investigators was, I'm concerned that they were going to take or have taken my wife and daughter. We believe that that Mickey believes strongly that his wife and daughter and family were in imminent danger. Now, we believe at the same time that the pressure and anxiety and other factors that I'm not going to discuss tonight, we'll leave that for another day, but we believe that his mental health had been impaired and certainly was accelerated due to this civil deposition.
So when you talk about the danger, and this, I want to clarify this, is this actual danger that his wife and daughter were in, or was it perceived danger in the mind of the sheriff, which may be suffering from some delusional thoughts?
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, I think there are three options here. Because without a doubt, enough witnesses had interacted with him and heard him convey the fact that he was afraid that others were going to cause him or his family harm. So you basically have three options. One, there was no objective threat, and this is all a complete fabrication within his own mind, that it's completely subjective. The threat is completely within his own mind. And then the second possibility is that there was someone around the corner and he was only perceiving an actual and objective threat. So under the first scenario, then I think we are certainly being prudent in exploring his mental health. And under the second scenario, then there certainly is a, another element of the case. But I think there's a third option. And according to our investigation, what we've seen, I expect it will be that the truth is a combination of both. I believe there was an objective threat to his family, but I believe that his mental health was impaired to a degree that it impacted his ability to perceive immediacy and, the imminent threat of that, the imminent nature of that threat, Vinny, as well as the magnitude. So I think that certainly the third option, according to what I have seen, is the most likely facts that you'll see at trial.
Okay, I want to stop right here. I want to pause just for a second because the mental health, what condition does Mickey Stines have? He has California encephalitis. Okay. And when you look it up, it does alter your mood. It can cause seizures as well. So this and so the psych evaluation will be, and his medical records, his medical history with this particular disease will be probably the ignition that starts everything, that starts the engine, that it's everything. Okay. Because having a condition like that, but you're also the sheriff, it leads me to question, what were they thinking grandfathering him in to this position? Why would you grandfather someone who has, and it's an acute case of it, right? So even in that, why would you put this person in a position where they can handle a gun, where they can handle inmates, they can handle, you see what I'm saying? So somewhere along the way, you know, something has to make sense of this. And so the defense game plan, we talking about the game plan, the defense is saying, hey, this condition that we're not going to have named right now, but it's inside of the motion for the psych evaluation. In this condition will cause things to happen in a sudden. So it's impossible for Sean Mickey Stines to premeditate or to be able to premeditate a murder when this is a more triggering diagnosis. It happens on trigger, not on premeditation. Game plan. What is the game plan, right? So in that particular diagnosis he has, we're going to sneak up in there the fact that you all hired him as a sheriff too. So obviously you all knew something, right? Maybe not. But that's the whole point. It's like, this is the whole point of good speculation. It's like, what are we going to find out? What are we going to see? What are we going to get, right? Felicia Fee says, did you say California encephalitis? Yes. That's what Mickey Stines has. It's in his motion for the psych evaluation. When you, I believe I shared the photo with everyone, and I hope you have it too, Felicia. If you don't, let me know so I can get it to you so you can see what I'm talking about. But this particular condition will cause triggers. It will cause you to trigger in a certain mood. Now he's the sheriff with this. You see what I'm saying? And remember I told you all that every corrupt organization got to have a fall guy. Every corrupt organization has to have a fall guy. It's one of the key pieces of your escape plan. Okay, who's going to be the fall guy? Who's going to be the guy that we don't say, that we keep close, but we don't tell him nothing? Or the fall girl, whoever, like if it's a female corruption or a male corruption, who knows? And in any corrupt organization, both parties take participation. They're both genders are participating, okay? Like the women and the men are participating. Like the woman who is in charge of the ankle monitor, she participated with Ben Fields. I don't think anything happened to her. I don't think anything happened to her. I forgot her name. I got it written down, but I'm gonna tell you her name at another time. But this is interesting to me. Now he's the sheriff, and also he has this condition that could trigger something, and then you threaten him allegedly, and then you say you're going to kidnap his daughter allegedly, and then all of a sudden he snap on you. And we're going to use, okay, he snapped, he got mental issues, he got mental problems, right? That's what Michael Clark said about his best friend. He got mental health is real. That's what Michael Clark said about his friend. All right. Interesting stuff, man. Very interesting stuff to me.
Now, there's a couple facts that from the beginning here, everyone has talked about, and you mentioned one of them, which was the statement, they're trying to kidnap my wife and my kid. That one you've covered. I want to get to another big factor that a lot of people were talking about being connected to the why. That statement he makes directly afterwards, but it seems from the testimony that we've heard, let's play it. Let's play the testimony from Clayton Stamper here.
Here we go.
Talking about a phone call that the sheriff made in the judge's chambers just before the shooting.
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
I have officers confirm that the sheriff's daughter's phone number was on Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
So that number had been called from Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So, Jeremy, am I correct that the sheriff attempts to call his daughter from his own phone, then from the sheriff's phone? And if so, how is that connected to the shooting? Again, the why of it? Because it seems if that's happening just before, it has to be connected.
Well, I think if you take a look at what the witnesses in the, specifically one witness that was with Mickey after the launch, but prior to the video that you're showing currently, he was describing his fear that someone was going to cause him or his family harm. And it appeared to this witness at first, he thought that that Mickey was joking. And then he describes the fact that when he looked him in the eye, he realized that this was a very real threat to Mickey. He believed that this threat was there. And according to the evidence that they discussed at the preliminary hearing, he had attempted to contact his daughter and hadn't been able to get a hold of her. We believed he continued to attempt to get a hold of his daughter and was unsuccessful.
And when they're saying they, is there any indication who the they would be? Like, obviously, the judge would be one of them because he is the target inside the chambers. But any idea who else would be connected? Is it other deputies? Is it other folks from the courthouse?
Oh, Vinny, really? Vinny, you got the same questions we got. Was it Michael Clark? The man that was with him all day delivering food to the community? Making sure that the community has some food to eat? He's a pastor. The man of God is a pastor. He knows the Holy Spirit speaks to him, and he goes and travels and preach all the time and couldn't tell his friend was in a mental state before he shot the judge. You talking about that guy? We all have the same question, Vinny. Vinny. We got the same questions, huh? We're trying to figure out who this Michael Clark is. Okay. Why didn't the police? I believe Michael Clark is a key piece. I just do. I might be on my own on this. I believe Michael Clark is a key piece when it comes to information. Michael Clark knows stuff. He knows some stuff. I never met the man. I have never been around him. I haven't been in Kentucky for over 15 years. Okay. The last time I was in Kentucky was in Louisville years ago. And one of my old friends who was an Air Forceman, he passed away. I helped him move down there. He's from Detroit, and I helped him move from Detroit to Kentucky and Louisville with his wife at the time. He had just had a son. Shout out to Canaan. He had just had a son. That's the last time I've been to Kentucky. And I wasn't even in Letcher. I was in Louisville, okay? And let me tell you something. For some reason, this Michael Clark guy rubs me the wrong way. He just does. He really irritates me because, like, dude, you know something. You such a coward. You won't speak up the truth. You won't speak the truth. Everybody knows. Everybody. You mean to tell me everybody else that got interviewed was like, oh, Mickey Stines was acting weird. He's been weird all day. Well, how do you know he was weird all day when for most of the day he wasn't even around you? Oh, but he was weird at the Street Side Grill, and he was weird there and here. Oh, you had snippets of weird. Oh, okay. And then drew a conclusion that he was doing it all day. Now, if you all can do it, if you all can grab a snippet of his, his paranoia, his weird behavior in snippets, the man Michael Clark was with him for the whole movie. He didn't get no clip. He got the whole movie. So how is it that he gonna say, oh, mental health is real? It's like, bruh, it's only real today for some reason. Oh man, I'm telling you, man. That Michael Clark, boy, I'm telling you, dog. That Michael Clark I'm telling you, he is a weasel. That man is a weasel. You hear me? Oh my goodness, man.
Well, we believe that there are a number of people who were very interested in the outcome of the civil deposition. We believe there are several people who were concerned about what might be revealed in those depositions. You know, and I really want to take a step back. The very fact that we even have a video within a judge's chambers that's running a live feed, that's completely unheard of. So the fact that we even have video cameras in this chamber,
come on, man,
signals the past problems that have been ongoing. And so I think that this is not limited to one person, but I believe that there are multiple people that were concerned about the outcome of the deposition, and even more importantly, Vinny, Mickey believed that there were multiple people that were concerned about what he might say at the deposition.
And what is
Rob? This is interesting what you're just saying here, man. Look here, Rob said that. Now check this out, guys. Speaking of Mr. Clark, in the video of Mickey in the parking lot, you can see Clark, bottom of the screen, both mirror and parallel Mickey's movements, top of the screen, as he returned to surrender. Yes, we saw that here on this channel. Bro, you are on it, man. We saw it here on this channel. Then he says, it is as if Clark was tailing Mickey. He never closes distance to approach Mickey. He just watches him. If Mickey moved or stopped, Clark did. He never approached his best friend. I find that odd. Let me tell you something. Biz Nation, you are brilliant people. I want to shout out every person that rock with Biz Nation, okay? This is brilliant thinking. It's as if he was telling him, okay, who is the fall guy? Who is the fall guy? Who is doing all of this? I'm telling you, this is brilliant thinking. Why are you mimicking every movement of Sean Mickey Stines after he shoots your other best friend? And then on top of that, everybody is calm. Everybody chilling outside. Everybody is like not phased that something is going down inside. 8 gunshots were in the courthouse of Letcher County. No one budged. No one budged. Rob says he even stops when Mickey surrenders at the door. Clark then stays on the sidewalk watching. Yes. Michael Clark he's a weasel, man. Michael Clark is a weasel. I don't care what nobody say. He has weasel behavior. He is weaseling. All right. I'm telling you. And that's why even in this interview right here that Vinny is giving Jeremy Bartley, he's asking the questions that we've been asking. Although we know this is an old interview and I'm doing this for a reason because we're building up to the new one. We all are like, dude, you mean to tell me nobody felt anything or no one even suspected anything? You said he was acting weird. You didn't think to go up to him and say, are you okay today? Like nothing. Y'all just go out to lunch at 12:15, something like that. He walks back to the courthouse, and around 2:30 or so, that's when it all goes down. He tells everybody to get out, including Michael Clark, because Michael Clark was in there too. Never gets interviewed, nothing. He goes outside, like Rob said, mimics every move that Sean Mickey Stines make. Nothing. We get nothing from him. No interview, no nothing. Very odd. I find that very odd to mimic walking with your friend after he shot your other friend 8 times. I find that very odd that you're just good with that. Ridiculous.
What is the status of the evaluations, the mental health evaluations, both for criminal responsibility and for competency?
Yeah, so, we never asked that his competency be reviewed. Of course, competency is always at issue, and that is always subject to, to review, as you know, Vinny, but for the viewers, the competency would refer to his ability to assist at trial and understand the nature of the proceedings. And at this point, we've informed the court that we don't have any reason to report to the court that we question his competency today. The real issue that we have raised is whether he was criminally responsible. And so generally, we would give the notice to produce that evidence at trial much later in the litigation process. However, in an effort to expedite his examination.
Real quick, Judge Mullins already gone. It's 2:55. Everything has already happened. This is now Mickey Stines going back in to surrender himself. Everything has already happened. Look at this area, man. These small towns are something else. I'm telling you, y'all need to watch the movie Walking Tall with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This reminds me of Walking Tall, that movie. It really does. Small town, not much happens, but then all the corruption is swept under the rug. All of the stuff is, and then the man comes back and try to rescue his town again to be civil. It's almost like Sheriff Stines represents The Rock in that movie, and he just did it in a very panicky and very sudden way that doesn't make a lot of sense to everybody else until they find out. You mean to tell me you mean to tell me Judge called his daughter on his phone? Like, dude. Crazy work.
Which is inevitable, and now the Commonwealth has filed their notice that they intend to seek an examination by their experts. We filed the notice quicker because, and I don't think this is unique to Kentucky, but there's a backlog of cases. They've passed some recent legislation to try to speed up that process, but in general, you're seeing 12 to 18 months for individuals awaiting trial to be examined by the state's experts.
Wow.
So we hope it's a definite problem. It's a real issue that needs to be further addressed. The General Assembly has made some strides in that.
Okay. Let's do this, Jeremy. I hate to cut you off right here, but we've got you locked down for the whole hour, so we do appreciate that. Still to come, what was happening that day just before the shooting?
All right, so we want to get to the next part here of this interview because I find it, again, very interesting. That's Michael Clark right there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and look at this here.
Everybody looks normal here. We can't hear what they're saying. This is the scene of the murder, but what's going on here, right? Like, this is just a few hours before the shooting.
Now, again, this is all video, no audio. What are they talking about? They are talking to each other. Mullins is like, everybody can ear hustle here. It's out in the open, so it's not really much of an ear hustle. Carl Powley, I appreciate you so much. Here it is right here. I'm about to put my email up. That's my email, taybiztv@gmail.com. taybiztv@gmail.com. Also email Taya. Taya, if you can give him your email, we would love to hear more about what it is that you may know. Okay. All right. I'm very interested in that, and again, I have been talking to people throughout the week. I have been talking. I had a phone interview that I did a couple of days ago with someone that I'm going to leave nameless because of that's their wishes. But we had a very interesting conversation. I was able to write down a lot of notes. Very interesting conversation. Okay. I have another. I'm going to schedule another phone interview with them next week privately until they are more comfortable with coming out with some of the things that's going on around them as well. So very interesting stuff. Okay. All right.
And everybody looks normal here. We can't hear what they're saying, obviously. And all this brings us to the next question in our investigation. What was happening that day before the shooting? Again, we have all this video. You see some video there, but we have the video inside the chambers, which is the scene of the shooting. Still with us, the defense attorney representing Sheriff Stines, Jeremy Bartley. Jeremy, that meeting or that get together in the chambers before lunch, what was going on there?
Well, the first thing that strikes me again, Vinny, is the fact that we even have a live feed in a judge's chambers. That's the first thing that speaks to me. So in terms of the setting, the next thing that speaks to me is the informality. It's been my experience that even when even if I know a judge on a personal basis, there's a formality to a judge's chambers. There's in general, it's usually reserved for members of the bar. In general, there's some sort of decorum. I'm not saying that there aren't relaxed conversations, but the powwow that we see here is just indicative of the attitude that was reflected in these chambers. And it's the same atmosphere that allowed for the victimization of the females in those chambers. Specifically, we know Ben Fields has pled guilty to illegal sexual action within a judge's chambers. It's just unheard of. In general, you have to have permission from the judge to be in a judge's chambers. And again, there's a manner of decorum. And that's completely missing here. And I think that is what this video speaks to me. I know a lot can be made of, we can all try to interpret, there's no sound, we can try to interpret people's body postures and get into that debate. But to me, the bigger picture is the lack of respect for the seriousness of this chambers.
I understand what you're saying. My father was a judge, so I know exactly what you are speaking of. I want to do this. The lunchtime. So they leave the courthouse and there's a group that seems to be having lunch. I think it's called the Street Side Bar and Grill, which is just down the street. We have some video of folks walking down there. And I noticed that the sheriff is not with the judge on the way down there. But there is some interaction that we heard testimony about where the judge suggested to the sheriff that they have a private meeting and speak about something that they were discussing at lunch, speak about that in a private meeting. How significant is this lunchtime gathering and the discussion that happens at lunchtime relative to what happens later inside the chambers?
I don't think there's anything groundbreaking that took place during the conversations at lunch. And I think the witnesses have, they supported that fact. I will tell you that after they left for lunch, my client went to deliver food. It was something he would commonly do. He went with another gentleman that I referenced.
Who was that gentleman? That gentleman is Michael Clark. down there in Letcher County, Kentucky, where they deliver food and do stuff for the community. That Michael Clark, man, he really bothers me. And you know what? You know what's so funny about this? I don't let people bother me much, honestly. Like, you know, I know you guys don't know me personally, but the way I operate, I'm like water off a duck's back when it comes to a lot of things. Only because there is no significance, and I don't give that any energy, right? But I'm telling you right now, man, that Michael Clark really does. He stirs my grits, he burns my bacon, and he just upsets me. He makes me talk like this and do all manner of foolishness. I can't stand this guy. And you know why I really can't stand him? It's because he's using the Lord's name in vain. He's acting like he's this great man of God and he can touch the lives of people. But you a snake, bro. You a snake, man. It's snaky behavior. I can't roll with it. I can't. It's not in me, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't do it, okay? Those of you that are new, you will get to know me soon. Your boy don't have holdback. I can't do a holdback well. You know what I'm saying? Especially with my facial expressions, it really shows. But if there's anything that's like private or all that kind of stuff, like discreet stuff, I'm good there. I'm good there. But when it's stuff that's like you talking to me and you saying something goofy, my facial expression is gonna be like, what the hell? What the hell is you talking about? I mean, that's going to be my facial expression, okay? I don't mean no harm by it. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it, okay? But that Michael Clark, though, he really burns my bacon. I'm telling you, man. Let's go.
Thing he would commonly do, he went with another gentleman that I referenced earlier to deliver food to some people who were indigent that needed help.
Hey, bro, baby daddy, what up?
And so there was a period of time after the lunch, but before presumably he arrives back in the video you're showing, that he went to make this food delivery with someone else. And there were some very interesting events that transpired during that delivery that I think will be more relevant than anything that was said at the luncheon.
And what would that be?
Well, I would just say I referenced it earlier, but I believe it is suffice to say that on the delivery there was an incident where our client was asked to deliver to another place that was not the normal place where he did the deliveries for this particular individual. Ooh. And the witness will testify that at this point he was very concerned that there was an attempt to isolate him and to cause him.
Whoa. Nope, we got to go back. Nope. I'm sorry, y'all. Yep, we doing this. We going back. We are going back. Sorry, so sorry, but we are going back. Isolate him? Wait, hold on. We're going back. Let's listen to this again. Okay?
Anything groundbreaking that took place during the conversations at lunch, and I think the witnesses have, they supported that fact. I will tell you that after they left for lunch, my client went to deliver food. It was something he would commonly do. He went with another gentleman that I referenced earlier to deliver food to some people who were indigent that needed help in that vein. And so there was a period of time after the lunch, but before presumably he arrives back in the video you're showing, that he went to make this food delivery with someone else. And there were some very interesting events that transpired during that delivery that I think will be more relevant than anything that was said at the luncheon.
And what would that be?
Okay, so game plan. He's going to use I'm telling you, I'll be on it, man. He is going to use the Michael Clark interaction that Michael Clark had with him all day, all throughout the day. I knew it was something with Michael Clark. So I'm so glad we watching this again because I knew it was something with this Michael Clark dude, man. Like he got to know something. All right. Game plan, psych evaluation, insanity, the actual California encephalitis, the threats of his family, Michael Clark. Game plan. What is the defense's game plan to support the insanity? The game plan. Michael Clark. Michael Clark is a big piece. He's a key piece to this. Okay? My bad, April O'Neil's baby daddy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do it like this. We got Michael Clark. We got we got the psych evaluation. All right, the threats. We got. I live in Indiana, man. I know how it is. Hey, listen, Indiana is hick town all day. I'm from Detroit. I'm a city boy, man. I'm telling you, when I moved here, I was like, I didn't know people did this for real. I'm gonna tell you something. I have adopted some of this hick town. I'm gonna tell you what. So the old company I worked for, the facility is a LabCorp now, but it was called Covance, and it's right around the corner from my apartment. Right, and I used to walk to work in the morning and walk back home. That's how close it was. Okay, and I had moved here in 2019, and I'm telling you, man, there's a house. The man owned 2 big fields, and he just grew nothing but corn. And I'm gonna tell you something, y'all. I got some of that corn and I shucked it and I cooked it and I ate it. Okay. I shucked it, I cooked it, and I ate it. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Ain't nothing like having some Indiana corn all day. If you are battling with weight gain, you want some corn? Come on down here to Indiana. We give you all the crates of corn you want. All right. I'm telling you, man. The dude lived right around the corner. He had 2 big cornfields. The man had corn. All right. Not corn. You understand me? And we shucked it and we ate it and we cooked it. It was some good corn. All right. It was the carnality of things that just made me go berserk. Lord have mercy. I'm telling you right now, boy, I'd shuck some more corn if I had some right now. I'd shuck it in front of you. I don't give a damn. I shuck that damn corn. Listen to me. Michael Clark, y'all, that's a part of the game plan. They are going to cross-examine the shiznit out of Michael Clark. I hope this go to trial. The reason why I really hope this go to trial is because I want this corruption to be known. Like known, man. Known, all right? I need this to be known. This is ridiculous. I can't wait to share the good news that I got with y'all. But I'm telling you, we need to get this exposed. That man said that gentleman did some isolation. He tried to isolate old Mickey Stines down there in Kentucky, where they shuck corn and put you in rehab and take all your money. What they do, they take all your money down there in old Kentucky. All right, I'm gonna stop messing with y'all, man. Let's go.
Well, I would just say I referenced it earlier, but I believe it is suffice to say that on the delivery there was an incident where our client was asked to deliver to another place that was not the normal place where he did the deliveries for this particular individual, and the witness will testify that at this point he was very concerned that there was an attempt to isolate him and to cause him harm.
All right, so we got some tea from Bartley. He went to an isolated place where he normally don't deliver, right? And they were going to do some bodily harm to him, right? All right. Now check this out. Check this out, man. You mean to tell me, right, that Michael Clark was the what would say the goon, the potential goon to ruffle a little feather a little bit, or was he just the one to guide him to the place where they isolated him? Because whatever happened en route to his food delivery, apparently Sean Mickey Stines was probably further threatened, allegedly. We just speculate here, so it's alleged. But wherever he went, it was a place where they had to straighten him up or straighten him out, however you want to look at it. So he's saying that this gentleman, Michael Clark, is the gentleman that he's referring to, the snake. All right, not Jake the snake, Clark the snake. Apparently, this man had the tendency, the notion, the gumption to isolate this gentleman, Mickey Stines, to a place where Mickey Stines could further get reprimanded verbally, physically, who knows? Probably more verbally, though, in this particular case. I'm speculating. But if I was a betting man, very interesting that now that we're looking at this again, it's very interesting that Michael Clark is a piece in the game plan. The daughter, the phone call, the threats, the deposition, Michael Clark, the psych evaluation. We trying to piece the game plan. What is the game plan, defense? You telling us. Jeremy Bartley is telling us. We just haven't been listening. Oh, we listening tonight, though. Yeah, we listening tonight, baby. Let's go. I love this. Let's go.
This is eye-opening tonight. Jeremy Bartley is going to stay with us. We've got much more to get to, still to come.
Hello, somebody. Rosie WKY. First of all, shout out to Rosie WKY. Listen, hey, I haven't seen you in the chat before, but thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Strange that we haven't heard a peep. We haven't heard a peep out of Michael Clark. Not one peep. You understand what I'm saying to you? Not one peep. Let's go into this part right here.
There seems to be some sort of connection. Like, what are the odds that you'd have two serious incidents like this happening inside a judge's chambers? This is bizarre, absolutely bizarre. Now, let's get to this sextortion scandal, which in and of itself is a huge story. Here's the accuser. She was being interviewed, I believe this is by state police or the attorney general's office, about what was happening in the chambers. And the man who did it, the deputy, feels he was convicted criminally and pleaded guilty, and he's doing time for that. But I want you to take a listen to what she describes about what was happening and who she says was involved.
Come on now, Benny.
But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, and just him having sex with girls to further be able to get out of jail.
Who was
having sexual relations with girls to get them out of jail?
having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
Now you saw the video.
Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I've seen Judge Mullins have sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know, because I don't know a lot of people from over.
Where was it at?
In his office, in the judge's chambers.
Sabrina Atkins, the woman who filed the lawsuit, is telling you this man also allegedly was having sexual intercourse with inmates, girls in jail that needed to get bail. If you have sex with me, smex, or however you want to say it, I will get your bail done for you, allegedly. Now, let me ask you, Mike, listen, man, look. I suspect myself to be somewhat of a good judge of character. Again, being from Detroit, you can tell a liar a mile away. Like, you can smell them. What do you think that she's making this up? You can't make this up. You can't make this up. She's telling you, bruh, not only do I know this from my own personal, experience and seeing things, I also saw it on a video. I saw the video of Judge Mullins doing this thing, allegedly, with inmates, allegedly, for bail, allegedly. Need I say more? Come on now. Come on now. Let's put our thinking caps on. Something ain't right. Here it is. Another piece in the game plan. Another piece in the game plan. The defense, the boy Jeremy Bartley, JB, your boy rocking out right now. From these past interviews, now that we're taking another look, it's like, dude, you're telling us what the game plan is. Let's go.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was a judge in chambers? And this was Judge who?
Mullins.
Now, when she says the name Ben, that's the deputy Fields who's been convicted in all of this. Now, the judge was never accused in any of this, but it's his chambers. Brings us to the next question in our investigation, and this may be really the focus of and the reason everything is happening here. Was the illegal activity in the judge's chambers related to the shooting? That can't be a coincidence, can it?
It's a great question.
I think everyone's been talking about this from the beginning, because how could one not be related to the other? Here with us for the entire hour, the defense attorney representing Sheriff Stines.
JB in the building. Everybody put JB
Jeremy.
in the chat.
Let me ask you an important question. I think this is significant. I think people don't necessarily know the answer to it. Was it just Deputy Fields, or were there others involved in this scandal?
In that particular lawsuit, the only person who was named as an actor, to my understanding, again, I wasn't involved as an attorney in that civil suit, but it's my understanding Ben Fields was the only one named in that particular case. However, there is this audio where other people's names were mentioned and referenced there.
So tell me, and I think we've been kind of talking about this throughout, because it's obviously a significant part of everything that happened here. The illegal activity in the judge's chambers, this sextortion, I call it, right? Extortion for sex. Is it related to the shooting? You said, this has been going on for a couple of years. Well, you go back a couple of years, that's when this whole scandal sort of erupted. So are they related? If so, how, from your perspective?
Well, I think one of the big focal points for this particular case, and we've said this before, is the deposition. The deposition that that Mickey was giving in that particular case was scheduled for Monday, and this happened on a Thursday. So just a few days prior was this deposition. And I think in the week prior to and the week of the deposition, lots of people noticed that Mickey had become more increasingly paranoid, that he became sleepless, had gone nights without sleep. And there was an overwhelming amount of pressure on him, some internal, but we believe there were external pressures as well, because there were a lot of things that happened within these chambers that during a deposition could be potentially fair game for questions. And not only at that deposition, but if the civil case continued, then in further discovery in that case. And I think there was a lot of interest by those people who populated the judges' chambers for whatever reason about what Mickey might say in those depositions. And I think that that is certainly going to be a focal point of this trial.
So I'm trying to make sure I understand this correctly, that there's things that Mickey Stines knew about that could be potentially harmful to people's professions, reputations, perhaps their wallet, their freedom, that he knew about things that were taking place in the judges' chambers?
Well, I think that it would be highly unusual for someone who spent a significant amount of time around the courthouse to not observe things that that should not have occurred. And I think again, if you listen to Sabrina Atkins' interview, she mentions later on in that interview that she had fear for even given the statement that she was making, and she expressed concern during that interview. So there were a lot of people that were, that were sweating around the collar about what he might say there. And I think this pressure came crashing down on Mickey. And I think that it was an overwhelming amount of pressure. And I think there was, there was an objective threat to him based upon what he might say or not say, or might have already said or not said during the deposition. And I think you compound that with the fact that there is a mental health issue as well. And I think that what you see in the chambers in that video is a result of a combination of those factors.
I want to play another piece of that audio because this part of the audio, a lot of people are wondering if there's any truth to it, and you may be able to answer that. Let's listen.
But you saw the video of the judge. Any other video that you actually saw?
No. They say that the Sheriff Mickey Stines is involved. I don't know.
Who said that?
Chad, he said he had videos with Mickey. Mickey used to do the same thing when he was over house arrest.
So, Jeremy, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to that because we've heard this. Mickey Stines, was he involved in any of this?
I've not seen any evidence of that. I've not seen anyone that has produced a tape of either my client, and candidly, nor the video that they reference concerning the judge. I've not seen any evidence that supports those allegations against my client.
Let me ask.
Also, we do know that when we did our Ty Adams interview, and shout out to Ty, she's in the chat, we also know that she said that she was treated fairly by him, firm. He would get on you, but he did help fair, no groping, no touching, nothing inappropriate. That is her experience. I also spoke with someone who had the same experience as Ty. Okay. And the beat goes on. They're not going to be able to tie Mickey to any of this nastiness. They're not going to be able to. And see, prosecutors, I'm telling you, man, they some lazy because they're all the prosecutors, Jackie Steele, the prosecutor for the Commonwealth, all he did was play the tape of Sean Mickey Stines shooting the judge, and that was it. That was it. Didn't ask no questions. only until Jeremy Bartley asked questions of the detective is when Jackie still had some questions. But they just played the tape and that's it. Boom, he did it. Yep, that's it. It's over. That's it. That is what we get. That's what we get out of there. Well, let me get to the comments real quick, man, because y'all been talking a little bit. Shucking corn, yeah. Oh, Starfish never heard of shucking. Yeah, when you shuck the corn, you get the husk off. You know, you get them husks off that corn, and you get the little all them things. You clean your corn up, and if you want to cob it, you just cut the ends off and put it on the grill, or boil it in some water, or whatever you feel like doing. But you can shuck that corn anytime you want. Jimmy shucked corn and he didn't care. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, I'm having a good time tonight. I'm having too much fun, y'all. It's ridiculous. I should be having this much fun. This is Starfish said, Vinny grinds my gears. Pretends to be so shocked and in disbelief. What kind of dumb prosecutor are you in New York, Vinny? Facts on that, man. Terry says Clark has skeletons following him, and he will face his past if he testifies on the stand in this case. Oh, he's going to be called. He's going to be called. So he's going to have to face it. And you know who's going to help him face it? Jeremy Bartley. Oh, Jeremy Bartley from Kentucky. He's going to make sure he faces all those little demons. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to have to face all those things. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael Clark is not escaping this case at all. You may have got exonerated from Matt Bevin, the former judge, but you ain't getting away with this, bro. It ain't gonna happen. You know something, and you're gonna come forth and tell us. Yes, you are. You're gonna come forth and tell us, sir. Trikisha says, I wonder how he's going to tie it all together. Like, I'm anxious to know. Like, I'm anxious too. I am the same. I'm anxious as well. I cannot believe this. Like, how he's piecing this is going to be fascinating to me. So, Terry says, Tay, I look up Sabrina Atkins' attorney. His wife is tight in the Capitol, and Sabrina lawyer is running for state representative and campaigning. Talking about Ned Pillersdorf. So that representation on that case is at a standstill. Well, I think the case is actually, the Sabrina Atkins case is actually just completed because, again, Ben Fields pled guilty of third-degree R. So I don't believe that I haven't seen any other type of cases or any other type of lawsuits that have come up from Sabrina Atkins or Ned. I did see that recently, earlier this year, I did see one thing that Ned Pillersdorf did want to deposition. He did want to depose Mickey again because of this whole insanity situation and the threats that he that occurred towards him. So I did see that. I did see that earlier this year, but I haven't heard anything else about that though. But thank you for letting me know that for sure. I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on that now. All right. Let's see here. Y'all talking to each other a lot. Oh man. Oh man. Oh yeah. Janet was worried about Michael Clark Incorporated. Oh yeah, Michael Clark Incorporated. Oh, we spilled the tea on that. If there was some tea that needed to be spilled, it was spilled. It's been spilled already. All right, we're gonna go continue though. This interview is the recent interview that Brian Enton did with Jeremy Bartley, and then we're going to go into a case where the insanity defense was actually won. Let's go ahead and get into this.
Why you don't walk down? Come on now. So I want to play for you now my new exclusive interview with the Sheriff Stines' attorney, and I appreciate him for talking to me. And he's going to explain, and I got him on the phone. He's going to explain what his defense may be, because remember, there's a trial coming up. There's going to be a trial. Sheriff Stines is going on trial for murder, for murdering the judge. So he'll explain what the defense may be, and also why the sheriff may have been so worried about.
Give me 1 second, guys. Let me address this. So Janet says, Tay, is Michael Clark Incorporated being investigated? No. Michael Clark Incorporated or Michael Clark Ministries Incorporated is not being investigated. The only thing that's been investigated is the ARC company. They're being investigated by the FBI for Medicaid fraud for up to $130 million. That's it. I haven't heard anything about Michael Clark Ministries Incorporated being investigated. Okay. So if I do find out something like that, I will let you know. I will double check for sure, just to make sure that I fact check myself, but I have not seen or heard any type of investigation with that. Okay.
His life and threats that he says the sheriff's wife and daughter received. Mr. Bartley, thank you for talking with me. I think you saw our stories. We were in Kentucky. There were a lot of people telling us about officials and the judge using inmates for sex. Does that play into the sheriff shooting the judge?
Well, Brian, what I can't do is I can't comment on the veracity of any of the claims made. I will say that my client's actions were the result of a mind that was overwhelmed by pressure, fear, and untreated mental illness. I will tell you that my client, the civil deposition that involved similar claims, was a focal point of the week leading up to the shooting that you've seen. I can tell you that our client was aware of, had become aware of certain conduct. We believe that there was a network of power that was concerned with what would come out in the civil suit. We believe that our client began to feel powerless, isolated, and trapped. We believe that he felt that there were threats made against the well-being of his wife and his daughter. And so the revelations that have come out, again, I cannot speak to those. I don't have any involvement in those claims in terms of having investigated them. But I will say that the lack of an independent investigation into these claims underscores the feelings of isolation that we believe our client felt.
Was there we've talked about the federal lawsuit, and we did reporting, with the recording with the interview with the woman who said that she saw the judge having sex with inmates. And there was this deposition coming up that the sheriff was going to have to be a part of. Was that weighing on him? I mean, how does that play into things? Was that just coming up very shortly, or I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think that I think it's really no secret to anyone who's investigated this case or taken a look at it. The real line of when you could see a decline in my client's mental health was, it coincided with the deposition. There was a great amount of anxiety leading up.
Okay, so you see what I mean by the fact that he does not change his tune. Jeremy Bartley is not changing his tune. He is not budging from the fact that deposition held a lot of weight with this insanity defense that we have. But more importantly, the Michael Clark is another big piece to this puzzle. He's not changing his tune. And that's what I mean. That's how you know you got a good lawyer. He ain't flaking, man. He's not flaking at all. Let's continue.
To the deposition, and this really it only happened after he gave the deposition. And so he was concerned that there was that there were a lot of eyes that were watching to see what and listen to what he had to say.
And you mentioned threats with his daughter and wife. I don't know if you can elaborate on that a little bit. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he felt that his wife and daughter, were physically in harm's way. And I think that's reflected in some of the post-arrest videos that have been shown. That's what I'm comfortable saying at this point. He felt that his wife and daughter were in jeopardy, and he believed that that they could be physically harmed and or taken.
Did the sheriff did the sheriff ever tell you? Did the judge ever specifically threaten his wife and daughter?
I can't comment on anything that my client said directly.
Okay. Did your client see anything ever in Judge Mullins' chambers similar to what we've been reporting, what some of these women have come forward and said?
Again, I can't comment specifically on what my client saw, but I will say that I do believe there was concern about things he had seen.
And that is what, okay. Shout out to Jeremy Bartley, dog. Okay. Hey. I can't comment on what my client is telling me, but what I will tell you is that he has some concern. And I just leave it at that. Ooh, that's good lawyering, man. That is good lawyering. Let's go.
How do you feel about the allegations from women like Taya Adams, who we interviewed, saying that she had sex countless times with the judge, that other inmates had sex with the judge, that it was just sort of known that if you did that, you would, get out of being in trouble, basically?
But, I prosecuted for Commonwealth of Kentucky for a long time as an assistant Commonwealth attorney, and I always took the claims of alleged victims very seriously. I have no idea about the veracity of each of these individual claims, but I will say that I am concerned why we don't see an independent body of investigators looking into those claims. But again, that's, that is, that's in some ways outside of this case, in many ways outside of this case. But should they be investigated? I think definitely. And someone should take a look at this. I mean, there's a lot of things being said. There's a lot of things that we know did happen. That's how we have a video in the judge's chambers, right? Is because as a result of a civil suit and a criminal prosecution that involved that area. Now, as to what occurred and what specifically did or did not happen, I think until somebody investigates that, and somebody that does it in an unbiased manner, then we don't know. But I do think, again, that underscores the lack of that independent investigation. Again, underscores the feeling of isolation that even the sheriff of a county can feel. So, so I do think that someone should investigate it and get to the bottom of it.
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking about, if the allegations are true that this, sex ring, whatever you want to call it, was at such high levels. Is the sheriff at all worried, or are you at all worried about his safety now while he's incarcerated?
I don't Yeah, I feel that at this current moment that our client is safe. You know, as to his family, we believe they're safe. We hope they're safe, and I'm not aware of any specific threats having been made after this case was initiated. But and I think that there are, or there has been a history of silence in Letcher County that is troubling. And I think it's something that, without an independent investigation into what underlies all of this, then that silence is perpetuated.
Do you have any indication that there may be an independent investigation now because of what's been coming out and just because of people being perplexed by why the sheriff would shoot the judge? I mean, has any...
Give me 1 second. Moderators, if one of the moderators can drop the link to the live that I did on Michael Clark. I did 2 live videos about Michael Clark. If the mods can drop the link to both of those live videos, so that way those that are new can actually see these videos and save them to their list or like them, so that way they can see that we unpacked this dude very well. Okay, we unpacked Michael Clark very well, and we suspected him to be a key piece to this whole thing. All right, so when you all have some time, those that are kind of fairly new to the channel, please go ahead and by all means leave your comments, like, subscribe, share, do your thing. I'm telling you, we unpacked Michael Clark, and we unpacked his Michael Clark Ministries Incorporated company and all that good stuff. All right, so I just want to put that out there. If any mods can do that for me, I appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
There may be an independent investigation now because of what's been coming out and just because of people being perplexed by why the sheriff would shoot the judge. I mean, has anything happened recently that makes you think that maybe they will investigate in terms of like at the state level or even the feds?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that these allegations were made to certain investigative bodies even prior to this shooting. So to say that do I have confidence that there's an investigation? No. Am I aware that there is an investigation currently? No. But I do know that according to the same recordings that I've listened to on television myself, these claims were made to the Attorney General's investigators prior to this shooting as a result of the civil case and the criminal investigation of Mr. Fields.
And it's just interesting when you go there, we interviewed obviously Taya Adams and talked to some other women off camera, but there is this sense that this wasn't really a secret, what was going on. I mean, it seems like people knew, just like locals.
Yeah, so again, Brian, my wife and I both are from the adjoining county there in Eastern Kentucky, and I can tell you that these things have been said for quite a while. Again, I can't personally comment on the truthfulness or the veracity of any of that, but especially given what has transpired, I am curious why if there has been an investigation, what did it yield? Will there be an investigation? And so yes, I have heard the same things. I'm aware of the allegations, and but again, the fact that we don't have an investigation into this again underscores how even a sheriff can feel pretty isolated.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking if I'm the attorney general's office or if I'm the FBI and I hear about a acting sheriff who shot, and it's on video, who shot a judge in the chambers, and then these other things come out. I mean, even before these other things came out, when I heard the story, I just thought, why would the sheriff do that? You know what I mean? Who has a family and who has, he's the sheriff. You know what I mean? Like, I would just think there would be enough there already to warrant someone coming in and saying, like, what is going on in this county?
I don't disagree with you, Brian.
What a role will the sheriff's mental state play in the upcoming trial?
Well, again, I don't want to get into specifics of our defense, but, it's been you've seen in the public filings and in the hearings that we believe that his mental health is going to be a large piece of our defense.
And just, I guess, what caused him to get to that point?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at the anxiety, if you look at the pre-existing illnesses, if you look at the pressure, the lack of sleeplessness leading up to and following the deposition, and I think that created a very a very dangerous combination when you put that in conjunction with mental illness. And so the specifics of that, I'm not going to comment on today, but we're very confident that we will be able to demonstrate that there was a mental disease or defect, and that he wasn't able to appreciate the criminality of his actions, and that we believe that he shouldn't be criminally responsible.
So there's this whole rehab component, and some of the women we spoke to have talked about it too, that there's this connection between the drug rehabs and the violation of inmates' rights. Have you heard anything about that, or in your investigation? Or, I mean, I know you can't talk about what the sheriff has specifically told you, but have you come across anything in that department?
Okay, now before he says anything about that, I had a conversation with Hillbilly Crime privately. And I asked her if it's okay if, I reference some of these things in my lives and things like that. She says, go ahead. I don't care. But yes, all good. And by the way, if you look at the channel tomorrow, Hillbilly Crime and I will be on this show, on this channel tomorrow at 6:00. So go ahead and if you go to my live streams that's coming up tomorrow at 6:00, me and Hillbilly Crime will be on live together. A lot of people have been wanting to see it. We're finally making it happen tomorrow, 6:00. All right. Put that in your calendar, pin it, do your thing. But she told me about how they utilize the drug and rehab thing to circulate and to revolve the entire idea of, okay, you get clean, they put you on a drug to keep you from going back to what you got clean from, and then you get hooked on that drug, and then they arrest you all over again, and they just loop you around into this cycle. And while they're looping you around in this cycle, the insurance companies and all these companies that's housing you, they're getting fat off the money. They get fat off the money. So it goes from trying to get you clean, but then they put you on a prescription that could potentially get you back to what you was trying to get clean from. And then if you relapse, that's great for them, because all they gonna do is get more money off of housing you again. And it's like a cycle that they're doing. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow because I have questions. I'm a very inquisitive guy at times, okay? I have questions, man. I'm very, very curious about how this works because ARC made $130 million off of a recovery program. And, I can't wait to unpack the ARC program because we're going to do that too. Remember, this investigation is ongoing, so I'm getting more information as we go, but I'm telling you, I have so much information about this that we're definitely going to unpack it. But that's interesting to me that they do this, and this is the reason why he asked that question. That question he asked was specific. Like, what do you know about the drug revolving door thing? Like, what do you know about it? Like, that's a very specific question, okay? So I just wanted to let you know, like, there is a formula to their madness that they're doing. It's a formula. They have it down pat. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah, at this point, I can't really get into that. I don't want to comment on that part of the investigation at this point.
Okay, I understand. And just in terms of the where things stand, I saw there was a hearing last week. You were asking for a $50,000 bond for the sheriff. Doesn't seem like that has come through. What sort of happens next? I don't know if you can kind of give me a little bit of the timeline or what you expect and when the trial may be.
Well, I think the Commonwealth indicated in the hearing that they were going to seek funds to get another expert, and so I think that will, that will certainly set us backwards in terms of getting a trial date. But I think that there's a lot of pre-trial motions that I'm sure will be heard.
What up,
we're
Diamond?
looking to get a trial date, hopefully, as soon as possible.
This, I mean, I'm assuming in your career, this.
Everybody put Diamond in the chat. Say what up, though. I love to recognize all of our new subscribers or our new chat members and things of that nature. I love to do that. So everybody put Diamond in the chat for me, please, if you will. Show Diamond some love real quick. Let's go.
As soon as possible.
This, I mean, I'm assuming in your career, this is this is sort of an unusual case for you. I mean, it's an unusual case for everybody following it, but this must be interesting. Just sort of you said you're from the neighboring county, just sort of on a personal level, it must be sort of an interesting one.
Well, I think that it's an unfortunate one. I think that the people of Eastern Kentucky are extremely, in the majority of these folks in Eastern Kentucky are fine folks. They are extremely resilient. But I do believe that there has been a history at times of corruption in certain areas. And I think that, you hope that if anything from a tragedy like this, you would hope that it gives an opportunity to shine light on how we got here.
So I'm definitely going to stay on this story, you guys. I mean,
that's the latest interview of your boy, Jeremy Bartley. Now, again, he doesn't change his tune. He stays on point with his defense. We see that he's going to go into the daughter being called on the judge's phone. He's going to go into the actual psych evaluation of Mickey Stines. He's going to go into the Michael Clark situation, which we all had questions about. Everybody like, why haven't we heard anything from Michael Clark, right? But I can't wait to see what happens because, see, the thing is, and this is what happened. Remember when Michael Clark was like, you know what, I'm not going to do any interviews or people been people have been reaching out to me and wanting to do interviews with me, and I'm not going to do it, and blah, 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 blah. And because he's very, very close to this whole thing. So, well, we're going to see during trial. We're definitely going to see. All right. Diamond says, sweet. I feel famous now. Thanks for making my day. It's all love. It's all good. We are a family here. We are a family here, man. We are good. All right. We are definitely good here. All right. So, what we want to do is, I came across a case where the insanity defense was a not guilty verdict. They were able to use the insanity defense, and they won the case. Okay. So I know a lot of this has probably slipped past your back door. Okay. But I want to go ahead and get this going. Hold on, there we go. All right. So we're going to look at this here. The United States versus Hinckley. Okay. United States versus Hinckley. November 17th, 1981. All right. Here is the case. The defendant, John W. Hinckley Jr., is charged in a multi-count indictment with attempted assassination of the President of the United States. Did you hear what I said? I said what I heard. Did you hear what I said? John Hinckley Jr. is charged. This is back in 1981. Multiple counts on this indictment with attempted assassination of the President of the United States. Who was the President of the United States at that time? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. Here's a case where the insanity defense worked. Assault on a federal officer, United States Secret Service agent, use of firearm in commission of a federal offense, and other District of Columbia Code offenses, all allegedly committed on March 30th, 1981. The indictment was returned on August 24th, 1981. Okay. Background. On March 31st, 1981, Magistrate Arthur Burnett ordered an examination to determine Hinckley's competency to stand trial. We are talking about the insanity defense tonight, people. We are talking about utilizing the insanity defense to escape the idea, the approach of the death penalty. The death penalty is not something that we want for Sean Mickey Stines. This is the reason why we are talking about this. We're looking at the game plan. We're trying to figure out what is it that Jeremy Bartley got up his sleeve to make sure that Sean Mickey Stines does not see the death penalty. I pulled a case from 1981 of a man by the name of John Hinckley Jr., who attempted the assassination of the President of the United States to impress an actress. And who was the actress name? Jodie Foster. Y'all better Google me, man. Your boy be coming up with it. All right. Google me, dog. The man tried to impress Jodie Foster by attempting to assassinate the President of the United States. And also, he shot 3 other people in the midst of this. Arthur Burnett ordered an examination to determine Hinckley's competency to stand trial. That the examination was conducted on April the 1st, 1981 by Dr. James L. Evans, a psychiatrist, who reported that the defendant was competent. On April the 2nd, 1981, Chief Judge William B. Bryant issued an order for an examination to determine Hinckley's competency to stand trial, mental condition, and legal responsibility for his actions on March 30th, 1981. Under Judge Bryant's order, the defendant was committed to Butner, where he underwent physical, psychiatric, and a battery of psychological examinations. The examination was completed and a report submitted to the court on July 29th, 1981. Defendant's counsel contend that the use of the examination by Dr. Evans, ordered pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 4244, is strictly limited to by the provisions of the statute to a determination of the defendant's competency to stand trial, and that use of any evidence from this examination on the issue of guilt in any trial on the substantive charges would violate the statutory limitation of section 4244. I'm going to go down here some because I saw where there was a Miranda right issue as well with this. Let me scroll down just a little bit. Go up a little bit more. Hold on one second. Very, very interesting case here. And I pulled this because this is a case where this man attempted to shoot the president of the United States, and he got off on the insanity defense. Same difference. Everybody knew it was him. He knew it was him. All that good stuff. Here we go. Factual findings. The chronology of events on March 30th, beginning with the shooting at the Washington Hilton Hotel and Hinckley's later appearance before the U.S. magistrate, are not disputed in any significant detail. Various law enforcement officers, including Washington, D.C. police personnel, Secret Service, and FBI agents, testified at the suppression hearing. They all, in one way or the other, had contact with the defendant from the time he was arrested until he was taken before the magistrate. Based on the testimony and evidence presented, the court concludes that the defendant was denied his right to consult an attorney during custodial interrogation in violation of Miranda versus Arizona, and the statements given by him at the FBI field office should be suppressed. So he was failed his Miranda rights at the time that everything occurred. Okay? He was failed his Miranda rights. Again, this man was found not guilty due to insanity. This is the reason why he was found not guilty. Okay? Insanity. He didn't get his Miranda rights. He attempted to assassinate the president of the United States of America, y'all. Ronald Reagan. The man got off on a not guilty verdict. A not guilty verdict. Why am I pulling this case up? Because this is the same claim. Insanity defense, although the details are a little bit different and nuanced, but the actual insanity defense is something that the defense is going to use as their case in chief if and when it gets to that point. This man, John Hinckley, all right, is still alive, actually. And there was an interview that he did about 3 years ago. 3 years ago. All right. And I want us to unpack this. Now, let me tell you something. Y'all know how I am. A lot of times when we react or respond to certain videos, I see them the same time y'all do. I purposefully do not, yes, I said purposefully. I purposely do not see the whole video up front because I want to have a raw reaction to it. Okay. And this right here, I think we nailed it. I think we're going to nail the raw reaction. Okay. This is going to be the last thing we cover. Again, this is a case that was won by the defense. He was able to be found not guilty due to insanity. And he said that he was trying to assassinate the president of the United States on March 30th, 1981, because he was trying to impress an actress by the name of Jodie Foster. Okay? Come on now, Mickey. Listen. Hey, man. Listen to me. We just don't want murder of the first degree, okay? If he got to do jail time, if they put lesser charge on the verdict sheet, hey, we'll take it. We don't want Mickey Stines to face the death penalty. But I'm gonna tell you something. If this man back in 1981 can get off on an insanity plea or insanity defense for assassinating or attempting to assassinate the president of the United States, surely they can pull this case up in trial and say, yo, United States versus Hinckley says, and this is the best case law you could ever come across. All right. This case law is like you can't help but consider this. The man tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. All right. Let's look at this interview of listen to me. We're about to watch this together. Exactly. That's a fact. Jodie Foster stopped acting because of it. She did. And that's what I'm saying. They lied on Hinckley's extremely bad during his trial. Yes, they lied on Hinckley's extremely bad on Hinckley during this trial. Yes. Listen to me. With all of the details in this, I'm telling you, man, this right here, if there was ever a time to reach for a case law that need to be used for the defense, you can use this. As a matter of fact, hold on, give me a second. Let me grab the link. So you all can read the rest of this because I don't have enough time. I wanted to read the nuts and bolts of it. Here it is. That link right there that I just put in the chat. You can read more of this case in detail if you don't know about it. Some do, some don't. And I'm telling you, I'm like, man, I forgot about this. And in my research, it came up. I was like, this, if you want to use some case law in a trial like this, the high profile trial, this is something you could reach for. Again, when you dealing with stuff like this, when it's not a who done it, but a why he did it type of case, you need to reach as much as possible. You need to reach for the stars. You need to reach for the hills. You need to reach as much as possible, okay? There is no pride and ego in a case like this. You need to reach, Jeremy Bartley. And Jeremy Bartley, if you see this live right now, I put the link in the chat, and hopefully you get the link. You need to read this case, study this case backwards and forward, just in case it relates to Sean Mickey Stines. Okay? Let's go. This is the interview of John Hinckley, man. I'm telling you, this is I'm about to see it with y'all for the first time. All right, we're gonna end it. Here we go.
Shots. 25-year-old John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan.
There are 2 or 3 people here they're taking away. Yes, he appears to be blonde. He is seized as the suspect.
Hinckley's shooting spree would make him one of the most notorious criminals in American history. A bullet puncturing President Reagan's lung, almost killing him. A Secret Service agent and police officer also wounded. Hinckley's 4th victim, Press Secretary Jim Brady, suffering brain damage, paralyzed for life. John Hinckley was charged with 13 crimes, later acquitted by reason of insanity.
I was the most scrutinized mental patient in America. Even my judge said that.
And now, at 67, he is free after 41 years under medical supervision. He spent 34 of those years here at St. Elizabeth's Psychiatric Hospital in Washington, D.C., eventually becoming an outpatient and living with his mother. His medications and movements remained supervised. But all that came to an end with a court ruling this past June. His freedom, a test of redemption, at the intersection of gun violence and mental illness.
I worked hard. I walked the line for 41 years and did everything I needed to do to get my freedom.
Can you understand why some would see you as a danger to society?
Not now, no.
Why?
Because I'm not. If they want to think I'm the person that I was 41 years ago, yes, I could see that, but that's not the person I am now.
Just before the assassination attempt, Hinckley told us he felt cut off from society. What was going on in your mind?
I was just totally depressed, totally despairing of my life. I thought I had nowhere to turn. I had become totally estranged from my family. That was the worst part of it. I was totally isolated.
An undiagnosed psychiatric disorder made him obsessed with the movie Taxi Driver.
You talking to me?
About a loner plotting to assassinate a presidential candidate. The film starred Jodie Foster, who Hinckley was stalking in real life.
I don't know who's weirder, you or me.
I had the delusion back in 1981 that by shooting the president, I could impress Jodie Foster, which me saying that now, it's ridiculous, but that's what I believed back then. It was in ways like a suicide attempt, just saying this is it, this is the end of my life.
He was diagnosed with 5 severe mental disorders and found to have serious defects in reality, testing, insight, and judgment.
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. My bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. But these disorders right here, I'm really trying to figure out like if this falls under a cluster B type of thing. I wonder if it's a cluster B situation, because a lot of these, when you study cluster B, like a few of these, like borderline and narcissistic personality, those are in cluster B. These are not specifically like schizophrenia and things like that are not in a cluster B personality. So I'm wondering if in his 41-year stint of being in the hospital, if they tried to treat him as if he had cluster B, since he would, for lack of a better word, progress as a patient. Just wondering, right? Because I know in cluster B there is some mixture of personalities that are related to like no empathy and things like that. But these are, but okay, so Keisha said no, they are not. Okay, great. So they're not. So that means that he was actually battling with compartmentalized type of personalities that he was experiencing, and then the depression was probably the most severe out of all of them, because depression is a very deep grief and a very deep emotion, you know. So yeah, man, this is really interesting.
Mental disorders and found to have serious defects in reality, testing, insight, and judgment. making him an
True,
unpredictably
very true.
dangerous person. Do you ever worry that you might relapse?
No, I take my meds. Even though I don't have to now, I still take my meds.
I read that you take an anti-anxiety and an antipsychotic. Is that right?
Yes.
What makes you feel that you can be trusted? I mean, do you trust yourself
I do.
not to relapse?
I've always felt the meds help, and I still feel that way.
Because a lot of people think if you're criminally insane, that's incurable.
It's not incurable. I'm sitting here as proof positive that it's curable.
Hinckley's crimes back in 1981 changed gun control in the U.S. In 1993, James Brady and his wife Sarah helped pass the Brady Act. And the Brady law ushered in a waiting period and background checks,
Right.
especially with regard to people who were suffering mental illness.
I certainly don't think the mentally ill should have access to guns. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Background checks are good and waiting periods are good. I think there's too many guns in America.
And coming from you, that's quite a statement.
Well, I hope it is. Because that's the way I feel.
There was no background check system when Hinckley bought his gun at a Texas pawn shop with a fake ID, a felony offense.
Right.
Though Hinckley says he's wanted
Yeah.
to apologize for years, he's been
They didn't
prohibited
really
by
do
law
nothing
from
like that back
contacting his
then.
victims and their families.
Background, like,
Ronald Reagan
that kind of stuff.
famously forgave you. What message do you have for the Reagan family now?
Well, for the Reagan family, for the Brady family, for the families of the other two victims, for Jodie Foster, I apologize for what I've done, for what I did 41 years ago. I'm truly sorry. I really am. I'm not sure they can forgive me, and I probably wouldn't even blame them if they don't forgive me. If I could take it back, I surely would. And I pray for the family every night.
I remember that day as if it was yesterday.
Danny Spriggs was a Secret Service agent on President Reagan's detail, seen here that day. He was uninjured and became Hinckley's arresting officer.
I believe in rehabilitation for individuals for certain crimes. In this particular case, we had two individuals who received injuries that disabled them for the rest of their lives. I don't necessarily think he's earned the right to be free.
He extended his apologies not just to the Reagan family, the Brady family, Jodie Foster, and all of the agents on that day. Do you accept his apology?
I do not accept his apology because I don't think that sufficient accountability has been rendered in this particular case.
You can see why somebody would be skeptical.
That's why I'm talking to you and trying to show that I'm not that person anymore.
Do you think you've paid your debt to society?
Yes, I do.
In what way?
I worked hard to overcome my illness, and I'm trying to give back to the world now through my music and my art. And that's kind of my way of paying back my debt to society.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
Yo, that's interesting. That is definitely interesting, man. So that is a case where someone who pled or claimed insanity in their defense, they won. Like the man attempted to assassinate the president of the United States, and the jury found him not guilty due to insanity. And I believe he was hospitalized for 41 years, right? And then has not still free. He's still alive. I think he's 70 years old now. I think this interview was like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. He's still alive, and he hasn't done anything at all. He hasn't done anything as far as like criminality, and nothing. So very, very interesting case that you could mirror with Stines, right? If you needed to reach for some case law, you could definitely say, yo, United States versus Hinckley says boom, right? So I found it to be interesting, and the game plan that we found out and that we're continuing to find out, and it's still discovery in this case a little bit, is the fact that Bartley said, oh, he's definitely going to utilize this lawsuit in relation to the mental state of Mickey Stines. He's definitely going to utilize the phone call that he sent to his daughter from the judge's phone. He's definitely going to look at the fact that the judge said that they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter, and they're trying to, do some things that are definitely put me in a position where I need to protect them, and with a prerequisite attempt to protect them. Michael Clark from what we saw tonight, Michael Clark is an intricate piece, a huge piece to the defense, which I'm just so eager to figure out what's up with this dude, because he's going on the stand for sure. Something that Trakisha said earlier in the chat, she said that they can always subpoena the daughter's phone to be retrieved for evidence and for forensic data. That gave me some hope. I ain't gonna lie, Trakisha, if you're still listening, that gave me some hope. All right, because I'm like, you know what? How come they didn't? And I forgot, like, they can subpoena her phone. So this was very, very interesting, man. The game plan is very, very upfront. Very, very. There she go. There she go. Yeah, I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, man. Clayton Stamper really like grinded my gears on this whole investigative effort that he gave, which was a lack, in my opinion. But the fact that they could subpoena the phone, they could subpoena things for forensics, that's definitely a plus. Thank you for bringing that to my remembrance. All right. But definitely this particular case that with John Hinckley Jr. and his insanity plea and his insanity defense, the fact that it worked, the fact that it was accepted, it was empathetic. It was like oh, he really got something wrong with him for real, you know. And based off of a movie with an actress, you know, like a young actress, by the way. This is 1981, so this is very young. Jodie Foster was very young at the time. So the fact that all of this came to be is like, wow. And he was able to be found not guilty. Now, he did have to spend a lot of time with, you know, in the psychiatric hospital and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, the verdict saw that he was literally not in his right mind at that time. And he's not in his right mind at all, quite frankly. The question is, do you think a jury from Electric County would be able to make a verdict that's fair? How are you going to find 12 to 20 people who don't know nothing about this case in Letcher County? That's my only question for Jeremy Bartley. It's like, I understand that you want to face the madness in front of the madness and be a pioneer of that, but this ain't making sense. I don't know if there's 12 to 20 people in Letcher County that don't know anything about this. Normally, that's what they go for. Like, have you ever heard this case before? And people are like, no, I never heard this case. I don't even know what's going on. They love to pick you because you don't know nothing. The more you don't know, the better the juror you are, which is crazy to me. But that's how the law works. I'm just trying to figure out if this type of insanity defense will be enough to beat first-degree murder in this type of case. With John Hinckley, there is a laundry list of psychiatric situations with him. That's not the case with Mickey. He just got California encephalitis. He don't have like mental illness for real. So all we can go off of what triggered him. It has to boil down to manslaughter. It has to boil down to manslaughter. So I'm thinking that maybe they're trying to use insanity defense to prove it's more manslaughter than first degree. But to be honest with you all, I am not sure I understand why he wants this to be tried in Letcher County. I can see the courage in it. I can see the heroism in it, but I can't see the logic in it at all. I can't see the logic in it at all. Rob said, called his aunt first, then he talked to his daughter or someone on her phone, on the judge's phone. So actually, what we did when we unpacked this, the call was an incoming call to Stines. His auntie called him, he picked up, and then he hung up, and then decided to use the judge's phone to put his daughter's number in that phone and then call. Very interesting, though, that even happened, because like the call was in a split second between him and his aunt. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was a quick call, very quick call. Interesting. So yeah, I don't know what you all think about this. Do you think the defense? Do you think insanity is enough for the defense to beat first-degree murder? Do you believe insanity defense is enough to beat first-degree murder in this case, in this specific case? I appreciate you all rocking with me tonight. This has been a very interesting live. We learned some things. We heard some things that we didn't hear before. And the Brian Enton interview that he had with Jeremy Bartley was very, very informative of the thoughts, that his own thoughts that he had. Again, Jeremy Bartley did say, I was a prosecutor, man. I was a prosecutor, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I know he knows something. Even Jeremy Bartley knows something. And one thing that I'm really glad about, I'm gonna let y'all go for the night. You know what I'm really glad about? I'm really glad that his wife is rocking with him. I am so happy about that, because she's definitely going to make sure that everything is on the up and up. She's been on it. When she had like the last hearing that occurred, she was on it. All right. So I definitely want to make sure that we get to see this, like they say, in real time, right? in real time. Okay. I want to bring something to your attention. All right, before we get up out of here, man. I want to bring to your attention this right here. Okay. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Okay. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Hillbilly Crime will be on Tay Biz TV. We are going to talk about crime, corruption, and the courthouse. We're going to talk about the Mickey Stines case. We're going to talk about the corruption that has taken place in Letcher County. We're going to talk about her experience with Letcher County, her knowledge. Most people don't know Hillbilly Crime has a criminal degree background. Okay. She is awesome. Her channel has been growing. I was rocking with her when she had about maybe 8,000 subscribers at the time. She's well over 20-some thousand at this point. She has been doing a phenomenal job with this particular case. And guess what? She lives down there, just like Taya Adams, just like others that we know. She lives down there. She has experience down there. And let me tell you something. I am so excited about this interview tomorrow. This conversation. I don't want to say interview. I want to say conversation, because we're just going to kick it. All right. She has so much information about the Sean Mickey Stines case. and about the corruption of Letcher County. She knows the players. She know the game. And tomorrow we're going to have a conversation. All right, we're going to have a conversation tomorrow. So I want y'all to tune in tomorrow at 6 o'clock to TBS TV, man. We're going to talk to Hillbilly Crime, all right? There we go. All right. Hold on, let's see. Chill said at TBS TV, they won a live from Kentucky. Yes. Okay, yes. I thought about this. I did not mention this to Taya yet, but I might as well. I have thought about going down to Kentucky to spend some time with Taya and talk, and we do our own one-on-one in person. I have other questions. Like, we already discussed like the corruption and things like that, but her experience with the attention that has grown from this case and from her story, I'm always curious as to how you're dealing with that, you know. And I would love to take a deep dive into that. And Taya, we will talk, you know, privately. You know how we do. We text pretty often. All right, so definitely I will get with you. But I want to go down to Kentucky. I want to be able to take some video, take some screenshots, pictures of the county and how it looks, and the Letcher County Courthouse and all that kind of stuff. I'm really want to dive deep into that portion of the content. I want to physically be down there. I want to go down there and actually catch some wind of the atmosphere, you know, talk to some random people and say, hey, can I take some time to ask you some questions about this particular case, blah, 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 blah. See what they say. You know, you never know, man. You never know. That's what community is all about, you know, just having the conversation. So yes, that is what's on my mind to do. There are some other things that's happening right now. I already shared it with Taya, but we're not sharing it with the public yet. But your boy is working, all right? And Taya is working, all right? In due time, there will be an announcement of something great. Right now, we're in the stage of hooking it up, making sure it's on point, and getting it in, right? And making it official. So we're not at the official stage. So I'm not trying to bring no goosebumps to anybody, but there is something fantastic that is happening right now. And as we speak, okay, literally as we speak, I just want to make sure that when I present this news, that it's locked and ready to roll. All right. In the meantime, in between time, man, take care of yourself, love each other, love the person that you haven't even talked to lately. Call them and be like, hey, I'm just concerned about you. I know we probably fell out, whatever, but you know what? Life too short. Let me figure out what's going on with you. You know what I'm saying? You want to show love. You always want to show love because love is the bridge for connection. All right. I'm your boy, Tay Biz. I appreciate everybody rocking out with me tonight on live. Thank you all so much for being a part of the Hillbilly Crime and Tay-Biz TV at 6 o'clock tomorrow. The people asked for it. The people wanted it. The people gonna get it tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Your boy is in the building with Hillbilly Crime. I'm your boy, Tay-Biz, man. Always show love. And guess what? You need to love yourself too. Peace.
Baby, I'm just too jiggy. Better know I brought that with me. Case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my daddy. Know how I'm coming. And they know what we had. Run around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. My young hitter might go in. Uptown GN. Working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out. Cause all of my hitters too deep in. With a boy, I'm so ashamed. Ain't worried about long as my money and my green. Baby, I ain't got work tomorrow. Tell me what the business is. what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that hen fluid. Young middle Mad Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that lead before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shawty dick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair. Boy, we grew in there. Around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out, cause my young hitter might go in. Uptown GN, working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out, cause all of my hitters too deep in. Tell them no stress, no biggie. Baby, I'm just too jiggy. Better know I brought that with me, in case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my baby. Know how I'm coming, and they know what we headed. Be that left side, low end. That left side, low end. That left side, low end. That left side, low end.
We were living in some projects, and they were new projects.
Yeah.
They had hot, cold running water.